Hello class, good day. So today we will be talking about chapter 2, Law Enforcement Professional Conduct. Okay, so this is included class in our midterm examination. Okay, so without further ado, let's proceed to our discussion. We have here sayings that the integrity of men is to be measured by their conduct, not by the profession, no, according to Junius. So meaning to say that the quality of every police officer, no, the quality of being honest, or the quality of having a strong moral principle of a particular officer, members of Philippine National Police, or in law enforcement agencies, okay, will be measured by which on how that person or the police officer behaves on a particular occasions or a particular situation. Okay, an iyang yung papakita nga manner class kung paano ba hiya nagbe-behave, paano bang an iya action nga yung papakita nga duhan public or community. So if the police officer, okay, shows a good moral, no, and that police officer is honest, then it depends, or it is measured by the conduct, no, an iring papakita nga manner public or in any occasion or situation, no. So every police organization class recognize that despite the best of intentions, individual members and the organization as a whole don't always get it right. So meaning there is still the potential for the complaints or expressions of the dissatisfaction to be made. When incidents do occur, the focus of the police professional conduct shifts to doing all that is possible for those involved to feel satisfied that the lesson learned from the event will only improve everyone's trust and confidence. So bisan ano pa class ang paniguro ang aton organization para maging maupay ang mga members ngan ang aton organization as a whole. So diri lagi hap maayos-ayos tungod nga may dalagihap mga miyembro nga nagbubuhat ng mga illegal activities, may dalagihap mga complaints tikang aton tikang public or na community nga nakakaapekto han aton organization. So bisan ano pa ang himuon ng aton organization para ikaupay kay tungod nga may adalagi hapon mga members sa Philippine National Police, no, or any law enforcement agencies an era member nga nagbubuhat lagi hapon hin mga diri maupay nga mga activities. Okay, so from that, the law enforcement relies on supervisors and managers to make effective decisions and oversee processes. But true leaders can emerge from any hierarchy rank. So meaning to say class that the leaders within law enforcement might be respected for their compassion, reliability, decisiveness, and other individual characteristics. Okay, it's more likely though that leadership represents an overall picture that involves a strong sense of personal ethics and adherence to high standards of professional conduct. Leaders impart their values, these values implicitly through modeling and setting a good example or explicitly mentoring others. Okay, so dapat class, okay, maging example kita, okay, na-realize an aton pagkakamayada hin maupay nga organization ngaton aton mga leaders, no, ngaton aton manager, supervisor. So dapat i-mentor nila, i-manage nila maupay, control nila and ira members of the organization nga maging maupay ang ira trabaho. Okay, andiri hira magloko. And then dapat ang aton leaders luwat dapat maging good example hira. Okay, diri lot hira ma-involve mga activities, mga illegal activities. Okay, this should be as good example, no, para makita nila mga members and organization nga nakikita nila ang ira leaders, supervisors, no, nga maupay ang ira trabaho. Okay, maupay nila papakita nga trabaho nga pamatasan, no, as a leader. Okay, they're doing their job, they're doing their duty as a leader of a particular organization. Okay, so let's move on to professional conduct. Professional conduct class, also known as code of conduct. It is the field of regulation of members of the professional bodies, either acting under statutory or contractual powers. In police organization, it is the accepted manner in which a police officer should work. It is necessary for the officer to maintain his or her ethical behavior and to have good professional conduct. So for example, class, we have what we call the PRC or Professional Regulation Commission. No, an aton PRC, they're the one, their goal is to set regulation ang mga membro. For example, may kita Board of Criminology, ano pa dida mga Board of Chemistry, okay, physician, and so on and so forth. So another PRC, the PRC are the one who regulate to their members kung paano sila mag-act, no, on how they will act, no, do their profession needs. Okay, sila nagtatrabaho. Okay, kung anon gin-regulate ang professional bodies, which is the PRC, Professional Regulation Commission, they must follow that code of conduct, no, or written code of conduct, no. So in certain areas, class, where the public interest is considered, no, to be heavily engaged, okay, legislation has been enacted, either replacing professional regulation by statutory legislation, or by a form of supervision of the professional body by a statutory body. Okay, before class, before an nagahandle an professional bodies an organization, no, before, historically, professional conduct was wholly undertaken by the private, no, private and nahandle, yeah, but private and naton professional bodies. But today, centralized na kita. Okay, nagde-regulate na han mga tanan niya profession, no, under PRC or the professional bodies is an aton PRC or Professional Regulation Commission. Okay, so this bodies class, these professional bodies commonly establish codes of conduct and ethical codes for the guidance of their members, no, ang mga miyembro. For example, criminologists, may ang PRC may regulate nga dapat sundon han mga members, no, as a criminologist. So dapat i-follow natin kay kung di rin natin i-follow nga code of conduct ngan magbubuhat kitahin mga labag, no, or let us say foul, no, ngadtuhan code of conduct nga gin-regulate han PRC, then pwede matanggalan naton lisensya, no, as a criminologist. Pwede kita ma-punish. Okay, so that's why it is important for us that we must follow the code of conduct, no, regulated by professional bodies, which is PRC. Okay, so let's move on. Okay, objectivity is that the person who is responsible for the investigation is unbiased regarding the evidence, and any decision should not be taken without proper proofs. Okay, so dapat, no, we must assure the secrecy and objectivity of the investigation. Okay, is one way para ma-maintain natin, okay, ma-maintain natin appropriate professional conduct among police personnel. So dapat i-assure natin, no, no, and pagiging an aton secrecy, no, and objectivity an aton investigation. Okay, when you say objectivity class, this is the quality nga dapat diri kita bias, no, towards the evidence by the person doing the investigation. So kung ikaw nagkakondukta, ikaw investigator, you must assure that you are not biased with regards when it comes to the investigation, no, towards the evidence. So kung anon mga evidence nga nakikita nato na crime scene, kutob lang kita diri ta papasobrahan, okay, diri ta iibanan. Okay, you must you have that quality of being unbiased. Okay, that is your objective, no. So the next one is confidentiality. Means any facts that are revealed during the investigation should be kept confidential so that evidence can be secured. Okay? So para ma-secured naton, of course, it indicates class confidentiality. It indicates that information obtained during the inquiry, no, or for example during interview or so on and so forth, no, you should keep it private, no, in order to protect that integrity of the document or data, no. Dapat di rin natin nagpakalat kung ano natin data nga nakuha, nagathered during investigation, di rin natin nagpapakalat kay bagin maging dahilan pa ito hiya para di rin natin ma-locate dayon ng suspect. Okay, for example, if there's a media, okay, and then ask if there's already lead, no, natin investigation, may na ba lead, but supposedly dapat confidential itong information kay if you will give information to the media, no, nga may na lead, or let us say there's a clue, no, makahatag kang clue, then the suspect heard that or nakita niya media animo statement, then he realized that that information is referring on you, no, the criminal or the suspect, then pwede siya tumakas, okay, pagkabati niya. So para ma-sure naton secrecy, naton investigation, no, so dapat buhaton naton ito ya, dapat confidential lang naton information ng data. Okay, so next, now the importance of police professional conduct. Okay, a well-written code of conduct clarifies an organization, mission, values, and principles, linking them with standards of professional conduct. So the code articulates the values the organization wishes to foster in leaders and employees, and in doing so, defines desired behavior. As a result, written code of conducts or ethics can become benchmarks against which individual and organizational performance can be measured. So for example, class, the PRC, which is the professional bodies, has a written code of conduct that must be followed by the law enforcement, no? And their mission, their values, and principles. Okay? So that's why it is important kay para may guide, no? May guide an aton mga kapulisan. Okay? They have a because this code, written code of conduct, this police professional conduct, no, will be a central guide and reference for employees to support day-to-day decision making. So masusuportahan class na naton decision making kay may damang kita guide. Okay? A code encourages discussion of ethics and compliance, empowering employees to handle ethical dilemmas they encounter in everyday work. It can also serve as valuable reference, helping employees locate relevant documents, services, and other resources related to ethics within the organization. So, within the professional conduct class, there will be effective crime control. Okay, magagamit ng effective crime control depends on mutual trust and respect, okay, between law enforcement and the community. So that's why police must follow the professional conduct, which is regulated by the professional bodies, for us to gain respect and trust from the people or community. Okay, so that's why it is important na sundon naton professional conduct. Okay, so that's it. Next, general purposes of professional conduct. Okay, first we have it can protect the public. So, by the help of this professional conduct class set by the professional bodies, which is the PRC, the relationship between the public and the professionals will be safe and protected. Thus, with the help also of this professional conduct, police officers will also do their job, okay, which is to serve and protect the public because they must follow the regulations set by the professional bodies for professionals, no? For example, the criminologists, okay, the lawyers, so on and so forth, okay? So they must do their job because of this professional conduct. And number two, professional ethics provides professionals with a plausible basis for speaking truth to power. So with the help also of this professional conduct, it will also provide professionals so with plausible basis for speaking truth to power. So meaning to say, if they will apt speak for truth, no, if they will not speak for the truth, they may be called foul and be punished by the professional bodies, which is the PRC. Okay. Number three is that professional code of conduct can help a young professional navigate ambiguous or stressful situations. So it will also help new or young professionals to look at or navigate to the code of conduct for them to acquire more knowledge, okay, about their profession. They can also have trainings and programs through education for them to help them to maintain high standards and ethical conduct that promote the common good. Okay? So, pwede ra mag-training, pwede ra apin mga programs, so on and so forth. Pwede ra mag-education through education. Okay? Educate themselves, no? To acquire more knowledge about their profession, especially ng mga bagong mga professionals. Okay? So that is the reason, or that is the purpose of professional conduct, no, set by professional bodies. Okay? So next, code of conduct and ethical standards for public officials and employees. So, aside from the professional conduct class and ethical standards of the Philippine National Police, all of its uniformed and non-uniformed personnel are mandated to adhere to the conduct and ethical standard for public officials and employees provided under Republic Act number 6713. So, this law mandates the public officials and employees to be at all times shall be accountable to the people, shall discharge their duties with utmost responsibility, integrity, competence, and loyalty. Okay? So, karong sigon ni class nga pinaagi hini nga Republic Act number 6713. Okay, may ada ethical standard for public officials nga mga employees nga kinahanglan bisan bagyo pa ito, bisan pandemic, no, or ano pa ito dida nga mga kalamidad, no, nga matabo, still the public officials are accountable to the people or public. So dapat trabaho lagi pera, masulod lagi pera. Okay? Kaya nira trabaho is pagserbisyo ngadtuhan mga tao. Okay? Ngadtuhan publiko. So okay, so we have here definition of terms. Number one, public official. Okay, includes elective and appointive officials and employees, permanent or temporary, whether in the career or non-career service, including military and police personnel, whether or not they receive compensation regardless of amount. So, atong election, no, kung nagkakamay kita ng election, may nagdadaog, so they are called public officials, no. May dalawat gina-appoint naton president or kung hino man, no, i-appoint naton ang mga high-ranking officials, or they have the authority to appoint someone in a particular position, then they are also called public officials, whether in a career or non-career service. Okay, even though that military or police personnel, they are also public officials. Okay, so next is that we have gift. Gift refers to a thing or right to dispose of gratuitously or any act or liberality in favor of another who accept it, shall include a simulated sale or ostensibly onerous disposition thereof. So maram na kita pag gift as long as that it is a thing or right, no, basta katagan ka, as long as that diri ito pag di ba mga Pasko tatagan gyud kita mga gift. Okay, well, as long as that gift is not given in anticipation of or exchange for or a favor from a public official or employee, okay, waray kabalyo. Next is the receiving any gift includes the act of accepting directly or indirectly a gift from a person other than a member of his family or relative, even on the occasion of a family celebration or national festivity like Christmas. So pag Christmas, may na-receive kita mga gift. No, if the value of the gift is neither nominal or nor significant, or the gift is given in anticipation of or exchange for a favor. Okay? So sometimes nakaka-receive kita ng gift pero may dangay kabalyo. Okay? For example, police officer ang tagang kaniyahin pagkaon kay tungod nga ada ka na na niya area, okay, para mabantayan nimo, okay, mabantayan nimo in iya area, okay. Po may mga hubog man nga maglorong-lorong ito dila nga area, let's say for example bar, okay, may nagiinom tapos subog, you are there, no, para buligan ang restaurant tungod nga ginlilibre ka nirang pagkaon or drinks, okay. So receiving any gift. Next is loan. Covers both simple loan and comodatum, as well as guarantees financing arrangement or accommodations intended to ensure its approval. Okay, kung maglo-loan kita, okay, we need an arrangement about financial, okay, financing arrangement or accommodation intended para ma-ensure natin nga ma-approvean, okay. May ito, kung nagkukuhan kita, for example, kung maglo-loan ka, hindi ka na makaka-loan kung i-verify kung na ka na trabaho, okay, before ma-approve ano mo loan. Okay, next is substantial stockholder, means any person who owns directly or indirectly shares of stock sufficient to elect a director of a corporation. This term shall also apply to the parties to elect a director for a corporation. So this term shall also apply to the parties to voting trust. Okay, so substantial stockholder. Okay, someone who shares in a company. Okay, okay, say yung may shares sa isang kumpanya. Okay. So next, family of public officials or employees means their spouses and unmarried children under 18 years. Okay, maano na kita pag family member and public official. Person includes natural and juridical persons unless the context indicate otherwise. Okay. Relatives refer to any person related to a public official or employee within the fourth civil degree of consanguinity or affinity, including bills into and balance. Okay. Basta related than public official or employee, fourth civil degree, that is relatives. Conflict of interest, okay, arises when public official or employee is a member of a board, an officer, or substantial stockholder of a private corporation or owner or has a considerable interest in a business, and the interest of such a corporation or business or his rights or duties therein may be opposed to or affected by the faithful performance of official duty. Okay, So, for example, if you are a member of a board and then you are an officer, and then there's an interest in a business, tungod nga kayo ito din nga position, magkakamay ng conflict of interest. For example, you are the owner also of the bus company, and then you are an officer or high-ranking official on the LFTRB, and then in order for you to get franchise, madali nala para imo because there's a conflict of interest, no? For example, because you have a business, okay, you are the owner of the bus company. Okay, so there's conflict of interest. Divestment is the transfer of title or disposal of an interest in the property by voluntarily, entirely, and depriving or dispossessing oneself of its right or title in favor of a person or persons other than his spouse and relatives as defined in this act. Okay, so transfer of property, no? Disposal of an interest in the property. For example, may nakita i-transfer nga titulo na tantuna. Okay, voluntarily, then that is divestment. Okay. Next, norms of conduct of public officials and employees. Okay. Now, ano ba ang mga dapat himuon na naton public employee once nagdaog na hira? Okay, so ano ba nila trabaho? So, amo na himuon, commitment to public interest. Okay? Public officials shall always uphold the public interest above personal interest. So, bisan nakukuryan na kita atong trabaho, no? Or nakukuryan kayo mo trabaho, pero tungod nga damo naton hirimo na aton opisina, kinahanglan lagi hapon naton sumulod. Okay? So, the government resources and powers of these respective offices also must be employed and used efficiently, effectively, honestly, and economically, mainly to avoid wastage in public funds and revenues. So, meaning to say, so if you're a public official, dapat kung may daga mo funds, may daga mo mga funds, no, na organization, dapat gamitin niyo kaupayan. Okay, for example, PNP organization has resources or funds and use that funds buying a car, luxury car, no, for the chief, pumalit yan Ferrari. So that is only for personal interest and not for public interest. But if you use that funds class by buying patrol car, for example, then that's good and that is commitment for public interest. Okay, number 2 is that professionalism. Okay, so public officials and employees shall perform and discharge their duties with the highest degree of excellence, professionalism, intelligence, and skills. So, dire pwede nga masin kita, pwede na, no? So, kinanglan, pwede na. So, dapat ang aton standard ang aton sundon. Okay? They shall enter public service with utmost devotion and dedication to duty. So they shall endeavor to discourage wrong perception of their rules as dispensers or peddlers of undue patronage. Okay, so PMP members shall perform their duties. Dapat i-perform nila duties with integrity and intelligence. Okay, and competence in the application of specialized skills because they are professionals, okay? And technical knowledge with excellence and expertise. You know, diri kay masulod lang kita public service kay tungod na karag naton magasweldo kita. Karag naton mabayadan naton kuryente or ano pa man dida. Sumulod ka or dumalagang ka sa public official kay tungod nga karuyag mo lingkod haton pamayanan. Okay? That is professionalism. Okay? Next is justness and sincerity. Okay? So public officials and employees shall remain faithful to the people at all times. Okay? They must act with justness and sincerity and shall not discriminate against anyone, especially the poor and the underprivileged. Okay? So, aton pinaglilingkuran class is ang government. Diri ang government. Kundi ang mga tao nga aton nga ang ginsiserbisyo ng government is ang mga tao. Okay? So, dapat may respeto kita kada tagsa, whether they are rich or poor. We must treat them equal. Okay? So dapat pantay-pantay la. Okay? Kung makadto ay opisina, okay? Diri kay ani mo gi-entertain la an mayaman. No, it's not. So dapat patian pobre. Okay? Kay anaton ang trabaho ng government is pagserbisyo ngadtuhan mga tawo. Okay? Letter D is that political neutrality. Public official and employees shall provide service to everyone without unfair discrimination and regardless of party affiliation for preference. Okay? Kay syempre may mga pagkakataon nga politika kasi ito. May nagdadaog, may danapiperdi. Now, diri pwede nga ikaw public official nga nito nga tao nga bumutos didto ka kaluyo iya bumutos. So diri pwede nga masaring kita nga diri ta bubuligan niya kay didto iya bumutos sa kaluyo. So dapat paglingkuran ta gyap. Okay, hira. That is our responsibility sa public official. Okay? Okay, dapat kuan la, fair la, okay? Diri nato nagdi-discriminate. Okay? So that is political neutrality. Next is responsive to the public. Public officials and employees shall extend prompt, courteous, and adequate service to the public. Okay, so dapat we are responsive, okay? We are responsive to the public. So a government employees also always smile and courteous. So dapat mag-smile kita permi. Ayaw pag pili hit imo si servisyuhan bakay pobrila ano an kumadto ay opisina diri mo i-entertain. So pag may kumadto nga niya ay opisina para umarom buligi dayon niyo. You must be responsive to the public. Okay? Next is nationalism and patriotism. Okay? So, public officials and employees shall at all times be loyal to the Republic of the Filipino people. Promote the use of locally produced goods, resources, and technology, and encourage appreciation and pride of country and people. Okay? So, this means that once you are in that position, you should be loyal, love our country and the people. Okay. So it states that the government must defend the Philippine sovereignty against the foreign intrusion. Okay, pero ang China di rin ito natin mababawi kay the China is already in position of West Philippine Sea. Okay? So pero nakasaadi dahan aton batas para mga public officials nga once ada na kamo ito you are already a member of public officials or you are already an employee, dapat protektahan natin Philippine sovereignty, okay, against foreign intrusion. Okay, next is commitment to democracy. Public officials and employees shall commit themselves to the democratic way of life and values, maintain the principle of public accountability, and manifest by deeds the supremacy of civilian authority over the military. So if you will become a member of law enforcement, you must see to it that you will commit yourselves to the democratic way of life. Okay, each one of you are responsible to answer all queries. May na naman makianahay may mga pakianahan natin ang natong community. So, dapat natin batunon. So, meaning to say that police officer must uphold or follow and respect the Constitution. Whatever written in the Constitution must be performed and followed, which is also included being loyal to our country. Okay? So, dapat loyal kita as a police officer. As public employees, public officials, dapat loyal kita. Okay? In aton country. Okay? And Constitution. Next is simple living. Okay? So, public officials and employees and their families shall lead modest lives appropriate to their position and income. So, they shall not indulge in an extravagant or ostentatious display of wealth in any form. So, kung makikita natin class, ano ba ng mga public officials, mag-upay tira sa rakyan. Maupay balay, may mga negosyo. So, may nakita kita, may nakita na ba kita ng mga public official nga naglalakatla? So, ano ba, may mga service na. So, natin lang kilala, for me, may kilala lang kita nga, anak kong lang nakikita, President Duterte, no? Nakikita natin niya media nga may dalaya simple life. Okay? Even though he's already president, still eat at karinderias, nakaturog yan may mustikiros, simple la, no? Irabalay, simple la liwat. Okay? Diriya sinisiringat 3 stories or 5 stories house. Okay? So, kung ano niya balay, ano na, amo lagyap. Okay? So, simple living. Okay, we have also here the duties of public officials and employees. Number 1, act promptly on letters and requests. Okay? So, all public officials and employees shall, within 15 working days from receipt thereof, respond to letters, telegrams, or other means of communication sent by the public. Kumeda, kung natin publiko, okay, pag-ada ka government, ngan pagmayad ang mga request sa aton pa-public, so dapat aksyonan dayon naton within 15 days. Pag may mabutay yung opisina ng mga papel, dapat tatakan naton ang pitsa kung ano naton yung karawat or na-receive. Excuse. Na dapat butangan ta if it is approved or denied or and so on and so forth para may baro an kuan gyapon ang tao nga nagsurat or nag-request. Okay, so you must act promptly on letters and requests. That is your duty sa public official. Number 2, submit annual performance report. So, every officer and agencies of the government are responsible to submit annual performance report. So, every end of the year, 45 working days from the end of the year, so dapat makapag-submit na ira. Okay? Number 3 is process documents and papers expeditiously. Okay? So, all officials, papers, and documents must be processed and completed within a reasonable time from the preparation thereof and must contain, as far as practicable, not more than 3 signatures therein. In the absence of duly authorized signatories, the official next in rank or officer in charge shall sign for and in their behalf. Okay nga mga pag-process ng mga documents ng mga papers. Kung naka-on leave ka, ang kinahanglan na mo pirma, ayaw na natin pagpahiya. So dapat may ada ka. Kailangan may ada ka i-designate nga representative para magpirma ngan mag-process ng mga documents kay para diri maalanta. Para diri mag-iha ang pag-process. So ang purpose para ma-process dayon mga papers ng documents sa public. Okay? Diri ramantala. Number 4 is that act immediately on the public transactions. Okay? So, all public officials and employees must attend to anyone who wants to avail himself of services of their offices and must at all times act promptly and expeditiously. So, dapat aksyonan dayon natin agad-agad ng mga transaction pampubliko. So, if that is important, bisan gabi na iton, mapakianhay mo through private message, then act immediately. Okay? If it is important. Number 5, make documents accessible to the public. So, all public documents must be made accessible to and readily available for inspection the public within reasonable working hours. So kung wala kita na tinatago, kaya naman natin direct papakita publiko. So, pakita natin. Kung wala kita gintatago, pero reasonable working hours naman. Okay? Ang napakaya na, umabot na for 45 ban kulop, tapos magsisirado na ka mo alas 5, syempre, diri mo nalating entertain nun, kay masirado na yung opisina. So, dapat, di na mismo ang kuhan, magiging accessible na ito public, ano yung mga kuhan, ano yung mga documents, kung may mamakiaan naman, reasonable time lewat. Okay? Diri kay maabot na kita for 45 PM or so and so on and so forth. Deducts and transaction. Okay? So, amin ni klase mga bawal. Okay? May kita mga pinagbabawal ng mga transaction like financial and material interest. Okay? Outside employment and other activities related to it. Disclosure and misuse of confidential information. Solicitation or acceptance of gifts. Divestments. Okay? So, ito yung klase ng mga bawal. Okay? Let's talk about first financial and material interest. Kaya ano yan na bawal? Okay, kasi rin pa kanina, public officials and employees shall not directly or indirectly have any financial or material interest in any transaction requiring the approval of their office. For example, if you are the LTFRB, no, tapos ikaw nag-i-issue, official ka, tapos may ka bus company, then, madali la para mo, mag-issue dahil ng franchise, ano yung bus company, kaya ikaw tagiya. Okay? Tapos ang chairman, ikaw mismo ang tagiyahan bus company. So, dako ito hiya nga financial interest dila. Ngan bawal ito niya, okay? So, the next one is outside employment and other activities related to it. So, make sure that, for example, gintugutan ka hanimo superior nga mag part-time, okay, outside employment, if even though or let's say for example may kita mga police officer nga natrabaho sa law enforcement, pero nagtutulagab di aton part-time, so dapat dairy office hours or magtutuduira wala na hira duty dito public, okay. So dapat and also para gyapon diri makakasagabal no it imo duty as a police officer. So now diri karoy signon nga nag-resign kaliwat serbisyo, tapos gin-recommend ka o sa nga private enterprise, so kailangan mo na magulatin 1 year, okay, 1 year ani mo after resignation or retirement or separation from public office, magulat ka na in 1 year para makatrabaho ka a private institution. Okay? So, that is the prohibited acts and transaction. Number 3 is disclosure and misuse of confidential information. So, here class, dapat diri kita maging chismoso or chismosa. That's why, pag may kita makukuha ka mga information, ayaw dayon niyo i-istorya iba. Okay? Klaro ha na niyo. So, ini ba nga mga sikreto pwede gagawas naton, kay once ini nga information igawas naton tapos diri pa ngayon niya pwede igawas, then that is unethical. Okay? Unethical ito niya. So, pwede kayo itong parusahan or ma-punished. Okay? Next is solicitation or acceptance of gifts. So, bawal ito hiya class and regaluhan ka kay unethical ito hiya, pinagbabawal ito yung Republic Act number 713. So, kay magkakamayada kasi klasin ko slippery slope theory, no? Once mag-accept kita ng gift, pwede ito hiya maging way para maging corrupt sa police officer. Okay? Okay, divestment, a public official or employee shall avoid conflicts of interest, no, at all times. So now, for example, you are now a member of public official. To avoid the conflict of interest, he must resign a position in any private enterprise. So he or she must avoid partnership to avoid conflict of interest. Okay, now let's move on to Code of Ethics for Registered Criminologists. Okay. So in the Philippines class, criminology is considered as a professional as mandated by Republic Act number 6506, otherwise known as an act creating the Board of Examiners for Criminologists in the Philippines, and subsequently amended by the Republic Act Number 11131, otherwise known as the Philippine Criminology Profession Act of 2018. Consequently, criminology professionals must also adhere to specific professional standards and ethics. A Bachelor of Science in Criminology graduate who passed the licensure examination must always remember that his or her position is a criminologist regardless of his or her employment in any law enforcement agencies, correctional agencies, security industries for teaching, or in academe. Okay, so once you're a criminologist, class, you can apply in the different law enforcement agencies, correctional agencies, pwede ka luwat mag-apply academe. Okay? And the primary responsibility of a registered criminologist, okay? So remember that if you're a criminologist, you must be loyal first to the Republic of the Philippines. And also, if you're loyal to the Philippines, you will also be loyal to your profession as a criminologist. Okay? So they shall accept as a sacred obligation, no? You have that sacred obligation or banal na tungkulin and responsibility as a citizen to support. So class, we are upholder of the law, criminologist. We must be responsible para ma-keep naton ang aton constitution. Okay? Diri kay kita criminologist, tagalabag kita ang batas. So dapat maging maupay kita nga ehemplo, no? Kita nga mga criminologist. So for example, also criminologist dapat nag-i-strive kita. Okay? Nag-i-strive kita para mag-improve pa. Nag-i-study kita. Okay, mag-study pa kita kay para mas makabulig pa. Okay? Makabulig pa kita. For example, maghahatag pa kita mga information ngadto aton mga estudyante. Okay? So that's why ang PRC may kita yan ng requirements, no? May requirements ng PRC nga once mag-renew kita ang naton license, kinahanglan ani naton magkamayadan CPD units, no? CPD units para ma-enhance pa naton knowledge as criminologist. So nagagamay kita mga training workshops, no, para makakuha kita ng mga CPD units nga makapag-renew kita naton lisensya as a criminologist. Okay? Okay, now let's move on to terms to ponder out police ethics and values. Okay, first, dishonesty. Okay? When you say dishonesty, class, the concealment or distortion through the manner of a fact relevant to one's office or connected with the performance of his duties. So if you are a police officer, you are tampering with evidence, you are lying on police reports, okay, then you are dishonest. Okay. Number 2 is that disloyalty to the government. It consists of abandonment or renunciation of one's loyalty to the government of the Philippines or advocating the overthrow of the government. So meaning to say that if you're a police officer and you accept appointment from the rebels, terrorist, or ini mga taong mga grupo, okay, nga kontra ang government, you are also practicing wrongful act, you are corrupt, and you are practicing fraudulent acts, then you are disloyal to the government. Okay, number 3 is ethical standard. With this ethical standard, class, it refers to the conduct and behavior governing a group, class, or organization. So mabubuligan ka mo, class, and members and PNP or any organization to discipline and coordinate their actions or activities and also establish the public trust of the discipline. Okay, makaka-establish ka mo ino. Okay? Pinaagin ethical standard. Kaya may damang kita yung susunod nga ethical standard kung ano ikaw upay natin organization. Okay? Next is gift. The thing or right disposed gratuitously or any act of liberty in favor of another who accept it, and shall include a simulated sale or ostensibly onerous disposition thereof, shall not include an unsolicited gift of nominal or significant value, not given anticipation of or exchange for a favor. So gratuity class would probably be provided in exchange for future favors. So no matter how subtly, while gift refers to an exchange in which these are no conditions. Okay? So maram na kita pag gift. It's look like bagan it's either be given through the people who are in position. Okay? Okay, yung katagan niya dun mga nagahatagiran mga tao, nga dun mga tao nagtatrabaho. Okay? Tungudan era serbisyo nga maupay, pwede ito yung gift. Tagang kan tip, pwede yung gift. Okay? But as long as that not been a solicited gift, no, diri ito yung inaro nga gift, kusang loob nga ginhatagay mo, wala hiya kabalyo. Okay, that is gift. Next is incompetency. It is the manifested lack of an adequate ability and fitness for the satisfactory performance of police duties. This refers to any physical and intellectual quality, the lack of which substantially incapacitates one to perform the duties of peace officers. Okay? For example, class failure to follow procedures, failing to follow departmental policies, okay, and procedures such as reading suspect Miranda rights, no? Moray ni mo ka-perform. So, that is incompetency. Okay? Okay, lack of adequate ability and fitness para ma-perform na nimo duty as a police officer. Nag-aresto ka, waray ka mention ano yung mga rights, no, before arresting the person, then that is incompetency. Okay? Next is malfeasance. Okay, malfeasance, the performance of some act which ought not to be done. It is the doing either through ignorance, inattention, or malice of that which the officer had no legal right to do at all, as when he acts without any authority whatsoever, or exceeds, ignores, or abuses his powers, or the performance of some act which is unlawful or unwrongful, for which one is specifically contracted not to perform, or it is sometimes called official misconduct. An example of this class is would be a police officer who witnesses an altercation between cashier and customer but intentionally ignores the situation. So as a result of officer decision, a robbery and murder occur. So ikaw, police officer, nakadakang grocery store, for example, kumita ka, nga may altercation between ang cashier nga ng customer, bagan nagsasagutan na hira, pero waray ka may ginhimo. As a police officer, lumakat ka la, gimbayaan niya mo hira. So nagkamaya ng result, pagka pira ka oras o pira ka minuto, okay, tungod dito ngayon mo desisyon nga nagpabaya ka as a police officer, na hinabo ang robbery ngan murder. Okay? So nagkamaya dalugod yung problema. Kay tungod nga wala hindi mo na yung action eh. Kumita ka na, nag-argumento iradwa ang cashier, ang customer, until sa time nahitabo na ang robbery ngan murder. Okay, kuha ng kwarta, ginpatay pa ang cashier. So that is malfeasance. Okay, pabaya ka mo trabaho. Okay, next, misconduct. This is generally premeditated, obstinate, or intentional purpose. It usually refers to transgression of some established and definite rule of action, where no discretion is left except what is necessity by demand. It does not necessarily mean corruption of criminal intention, but implies evil intention, not mere error of judgment. So, misconduct class, any wrongful or illegal behavior exhibited by a police, no, intentionally. For example, sexual offenses, intimidation, police corruption, false imprisonment, police brutality, torture to force confession. So those are wrongful act or illegal behavior. So that is misconduct. Okay? Next is misfeasance or irregularities in the performance of duty. So ini naman class, misfeasance, it is the unintentional act of causing harm while performing a legal act of responsibility. For example, class, a police officer sees an escalating altercation but decides to call another officer to respond. So this is misfeasance because it is the protocol for the closest officer respond to the scene. For example, the act of leaving or precisely map floor with no signs, no, causing someone to slip and fall. Ikaw, for example, kumita ka na, okay? Kumita ka na nga may nag-aaway. Pero wala yun mo i-perform, ano mo trabaho. Ano mo gimbuhat, tumawag ka pa. Okay? Imbis nga ikaw, may dagita sinisiring nga batas, no? Nga kung hino man ang masirani nga police officer, hiyan maresponde. Pero ikaw nga hirani ka, tumawag ka pa ngadto niyo stasyon para magresponde itong area bisa na ada ka na. So that is misfeasance. Okay? Or for example, ikaw tatrabaho ka no sa nga nagtatrabaho ka no sa nga mall. Okay, tapos kumita ka na mahulos ang tiles. Tapos imbis nga ikaw kaya ada ka na, waray mo nala kuha dito signage nga butangan nala dida kay bangin may balinas. Okay? Waray mo pa butang eh. Anong tala sa time nga ginuhulat pa nimo an imo ka usa nga magbutangin signage dida. At talugod nga may dan na balinas, okay? May nabalinas na dara hospital. So that is irregularities in the performance of a duty. That is misfeasance, okay? Morals and morality. When you say morals and morality, it refers to what is judged as a code conduct. So the term moral is also used to describe someone who can make value, judgment, and discernment from wrong. So being honest, class, treating others with respect, no? You are helping those people in need and adhering to laws and special norms, and also while there are many different interpretations of morality, all societies have some form of moral code that guides their member. Okay? Tungod nga may dagita moral code nga nagga-guide ang mga member ng Philippine National Police. So, yung trabaho nila, no? Anira trabaho. Honest nila, tapos gin-treat nila ang mga tao, may respeto nila. Okay? So, that is morals and morality. Next is moonlighting class. So these are the, for example, the member of the Philippine National Police, no, is involved in any other activities or jobs, works, no, and similar functions, no, or undertaken by him in or off duty hours with or without composition, which is inconsistent or incompatible with the PNP duties and functions. So, in order for clarifications, no, when you say moonlighting, for example, an employee takes up a side hustle or second job while being on the payroll, may trabaho ya, tapos may dapaya second job, no, wherein the primary employer usually without their knowledge, no, nga nagtatrabaho ya, iba. So, waray knowledge an employer. So that is moonlighting. Okay? Nonfeasance or neglect of duty. So this nonfeasance class or neglect of duty, it is a failure to do something when there is legal duty to do so, especially by a person on authority. So the two marshal committed nonfeasance by refusing to answer question from the investigator. So kung mag-refuse kita, ang pakianahan ng investigator, no? Then that is neglect of duty, okay? Because when it's nonfeasance, it is the omission of some acts with ought to be performed. So it is the omission or refusal refusal without sufficient excuse. So, to perform an act or duty. So, which is police officer legal obligation to perform. Okay? Investigator ka, tapos nag-conduct ka ng investigation, tapos hanggang pakianan ka ng imo superior, waray ka bumaton. Okay? Waray mo bato na. So, that is nonfeasance. Next is oppression. Oppression, the act of cruelty, severity, unlawful execution, or excessive use of authority. So, policeman suspended because of oppression and grave abuse of authority. So, inflicted bodily harm to the victim person, hitting him with a bat of his gun. So, he gravely abused his authority as a police officer. Okay? Nag-execute ka. Kay tungod nga, ada kan, ikaw police officer ka, you have that authority. Okay? Imo hiya gin lapatong pinagihan animan karaptanan animo pusil. Okay? So that is gravely abused of your authority as a police officer. So pwede ka masuspend, no, because of that. And that is suppression. Yes. Okay? You are acting cruelty, and you have that excessive use of authority as a police officer. So, pwede ka masuspend dito. Okay? Police custom and social decorum. A set of norms and standards practiced by members during social and other functions. Okay? So, a set of norms, standards practiced by the members during social and other functions. Okay? So, that's the end of our discussion, class. Thank you for listening. And please read your books and study in advance, no, with regards to the topics that we've discussed from the start up until today. Okay, the end of chapter 2. So that's the coverage of our midterm examination. Okay, so that's all, and have a great day, everyone. God bless.